Hello everybody, it's Lisa and welcome to a new video. So today's video I'm going to be talking about all of the series that I have started that I have yet to finish. I have a goal for 2021 to get caught up and finish some series that I've started. I am in the middle of a lot of series. When I sat down to kind of plan out this video, I realized just how many series I've started and I'm in the middle of, and it's a bit overwhelming. I need to complete some. So I'm having this video be made to hold myself accountable, and hopefully by the end of the year I will have completed some of these series. I obviously don't expect me to finish all of these series, but I definitely want to make some good progress and complete at least half of these. So I do have a mixture of series that I've started that have already completed, so it's basically just a matter of when I pick them up, I'll be able to finish them because all of the books in the series are out. And then towards the end of the video, I'm just going to throw in a couple of series that I have started that have books out in the series already but are still ongoing, so it's just a matter of me being caught up on them. So yeah, basically I'm making this video to hold myself accountable to actually finish some series this year, and also to overwhelm you all with the amount of series I've started and not finished. It's just funny that I have to make this video because I used to be the type of person that I would start a series and just read the whole series and then be done with the series and move on to the next. I wouldn't be reading multiple things at once. I would just stick to one series until it was done and then move on to the next thing. And now since starting BookTube, I'm just like, I'm all over the place. I've started so many things and now I need to complete some. So yeah, let's just get into some of the series that I've started that I need to finish. Some of these are duologies, so it's not as overwhelming. Some are trilogies and some are very long series. So let's just get into it. So let's start with some of the duologies first because that is less overwhelming. So the first book I have to mention is actually the first book that I read this year, and that is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. So this is a duology. There's Muse of Nightmares and that is it. So once I read that, this will be done. But like I said, I just read this book, so I'm even starting new series, so I need to stop doing that. But this is the first book in the duology, and we're following Laszlo Strange, who has kind of discovered this city, or he knows of this city that kind of people have started to forget about. The name has changed, so he knows it as the City of Weep, but that's not the original name. People have started to forget it, but he has tried to kind of find any sort of evidence that this place is real. And eventually one day, some people from this city actually show up at his library where he kind of works and are asking people to come and help them with some situation. And that's basically it. That's where the story starts off, and I did really enjoy it. It wasn't like a new favorite of mine, but I did really enjoy it. Gave it 4 stars. Definitely want to read the sequel because where this ended, what? So I'm making a plan to order this as soon as possible. Maybe even today. I do plan on doing some book shopping today, which maybe I should buy some next books in these series that I'm going to mention, but anyway. So this is only a duology, like I said, so I just have to order Muse of Nightmares and get it in my possession, and then I will read it, and this will be completed. So it's not too overwhelming, but I still want to finish it and get this one off my list. Next, another duology. The first book is Criers by Nina Varela, and the second one is Ironheart. So in this first book, we're following a human and an autome. So in this world, there's humans, and then there's autome, who are people who have been built, but they're not actually people. I don't know why I said people that have been built. They're not really people. But at the beginning of the story, we learn that the humans used to be in charge, and then the autome were built, and the autome kind of took over. So the autome are now in charge. And we're following Ayla, who is kind of seeking out revenge for her family. There is a group of autome who actually ended up killing her family, so she is seeking out revenge. And then we're also following Crier, who is an autome and is part of the royalty in this world, and we're following them knowing each other, them both having their own missions and secret feelings for one another, and it's just the angst, the drama, the romance. It's all great. And I really loved this book. I feel kind of bad because I don't feel like I'm giving it the justice and the hype that it deserves, because I read it right after I finished An Ember in the Ashes. And if you've watched my channel for any time, you know that I love An Ember in the Ashes. I've kind of become obsessed with it. So I feel like I was just all about Ember in the Ashes and wasn't giving this the attention it deserves, but I really enjoyed this and I definitely want to read the sequel as soon as possible. I have heard that the sequel is not as good as this one, but I'm still trying to kind of ignore that and just hopefully go into it and really enjoy it like I enjoyed the first one. And again, definitely think it's doable that I could complete this year. Okay, so I think this is the last duology that I have. So I think this is the Gumiho duology. I don't know if that's what it's called, and I still don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I know I looked it up, but it already left my brain. So we have Wicked Fox and we have Vicious Spirits. I read Wicked Fox back in August and really liked it. I thought it was really fun, and I definitely want to read the sequel as soon as possible. Also, it really bothers me that I bought the Book of the Month version of Wicked Fox because they're not the same height. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Won't bother me at all. But Vicious Spirits is kind of a sequel companion novel to Wicked Fox. I think we're following some of the side characters from Wicked Fox, so it's not like a direct sequel. But this is a series that is full of Korean folklore, and in the first book, our main character, or one of our main characters, is actually a nine-tailed fox who basically like devours and eats the souls of men to stay alive. Iconic, really. But I think, like I said, this is like a companion sequel. We're sort of following some side characters, and I'm really excited to see their story because I really liked the side characters that we're going to be following in this. So yeah, definitely think I'll be able to complete this as well. The fact that I own the sequel is also setting me up to be successful. So yes, definitely going to try and read this year. So the next series I want to finish, I actually only have one book left, and it's kind of a companion series. There's characters that kind of show up in other books in the series, but they're not like direct sequels, they're kind of their own stories. So the one that I have left is Bookish and the Beast by Ashley Poston. This is the third book in the Once Upon a Con series. So the first one is Geekrella and the second one is Princess and the Fangirl, and I love them so much. They're such fluffy, cute, and nerdy like YA contemporaries. I feel like this is exactly what I say I don't like about YA contemporaries, so I don't know why I love these books so much, but they're just so cute and so wholesome and just so nerdy and fun, and I'm really excited to read the final one. So they are retellings, which maybe why I like them so much. I don't know, but this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, if you couldn't tell. But yeah, I really love the first two, so I'm excited to give this one a read. Also, the fact that it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling is very exciting for me because I love Beauty and the Beast. I love, you know, a good library moment, so I'm excited. I've heard really good things about this one too, so yeah, definitely think I'll be reading this at some point as well because it's the only one that I have left in the series, so if I read this, then I'll finish that one off. The next series is actually a graphic novel series that I've started, and I think I only have 2 volumes left. I think there are only 6 in total, and I've read the first 4, and that is Paper Girls by Brian K. Vaughan. So I'm trying to think of how I can describe this series. Basically, we're following these 4 girls who are paper girls, so they have a paper route that they do, and they end up meeting up and kind of find this machine thing, and then they're able to like travel through time. So like they go back in time and they also go to the future. There's a lot of other stuff going on. I don't know. It's a very difficult series to kind of describe because I kind of don't understand it when I'm reading it, but it is really unique and really fun. And even though I just said like it is kind of hard to understand, it is like it's easier to understand when you're actually reading it, but it's really fun, and I only have 2 volumes left, so I definitely want to finish this off in this year. So the next series is another kind of companion series. They're not like direct sequels to one another, and as of right now, it is a trilogy. I don't know if there's going to be more, but that is the, I don't actually know what these are called, but the first one's Love and Gelato, and the second one is Love and Luck. So I read Love and Gelato for the Reading Rush last July, and I was pleasantly surprised. Again, another YA contemporary, so not something that I normally would gravitate towards or really love, but I really enjoyed this. Me and Sid from Sid Bookworm actually buddy read this, and I think we were both really surprised with how much we enjoyed this, so I'm really excited to go into the sequel. So the first one, we're following a girl who has just recently lost her mom to cancer, and she ends up traveling to Italy to meet the father she's never met and get to know him while she's kind of grieving her mom. There's also a cute romance as well, so there is a good mix of the more serious things as well as the fluffy things, and I don't even know really what happens in this one. This one takes place in Ireland, so that's exciting. And oh, an over-the-top destination wedding. Sounds great. But yeah, I'm excited to just go into this not really knowing much. I have a feeling this will be a nice palette cleanser between all the different like fantasies that I'm reading. I love fantasies. That's typically what I'm reading. So this will be a nice palette cleanser in between them, and I'm just excited for some cute and fluffy YA contemporary that I actually like. So the next series I want to talk about is The Diviners by Libba Bray. I have read the first one in this series, and it is a 4-book series. The 4th one came out last year, so I just have to get caught up. But this first book has a lot of elements that I really enjoy. It's set in the 20s. We're following some characters who are called diviners, and they basically have these like special abilities, but they are kind of like all discovering those special abilities in this book. I don't think they really know much about what it means yet, so that will be really interesting to kind of discover throughout this series. But in this first book, we're also following like this murder mystery that's going on. There's ghosts. There's just a lot of spooky, wonderful things in this book. And like I said, this is a 4-book series, so I have 3 left to complete. I know some people haven't really liked the 4th one, but I still want to finish off the series. I really enjoyed this one. I've heard really good things about the second one, which I think is Layer of Dreams. I don't know. I'm excited to continue on. This is the perfect spooky type of read. I really enjoyed the first one, so I'm definitely going to be continuing on and reading the rest of the books in this series. The next series that I want to try and complete is Death Note. This is the Black Edition, which I think has volumes 1 and 2 in it, so this is just volume 1 of the Black Edition. And I believe that there are 6 editions of the Black Edition, so I have 5 left, and I think it's just a matter of when I get them and I could binge read them because they're very quick because they are a manga series, so I definitely could fly through this if I just get copies of the rest of the volumes. So in this book, our main character, Light, kind of stumbles upon a thing called a Death Note, and it's basically this thing that a death god has where they can write down the names of people and they will die. But our main character, Light, decides to use this in a good way where he writes down the names of like criminals or just like bad people. And so they are the ones that are dying. But obviously it doesn't quite go to plan because people start to kind of piece that together and try to figure out who it is, so he kind of has to use it in ways to avoid being found out. It's a very interesting series and I definitely want to continue on, and I want to also watch the anime this year, so I want to finish like reading the actual manga before I watch the anime, so I would like to finish this year. I definitely think it's doable because it is a manga, so it's just a matter of me getting the volumes. So the next series I have to mention is one that has completed, but it's kind of up in the air on if I'm going to complete it. It kind of depends on how I feel about the next few books. So that is the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. I read Throne of Glass last year, honestly, at this point. It was, I think, January of last year, and I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I have heard that Crown of Midnight, the second book in this series, is a lot better, so I'm willing to give it a second chance. Also, Throne of Glass stands, for future reference, potentially, when do you read The Assassin's Blade? Because it's a prequel, but it came out after Throne of Glass. So I'm like, when should I read it? Help me. So Throne of Glass is a very popular series on BookTube, and I kind of fell into the hype. I read the A Court of Thorns and Roses trilogy by Sarah J. Maas and really enjoyed it, so that's why I picked up Throne of Glass, and it wasn't my fave. But I think knowing what to expect and knowing that a lot of people love this book a lot more, I'm willing to give it a second chance and maybe complete the series. But that's kind of why I said that this one is kind of up in the air. Technically, it has completed. There is the 7th and final book that has already been out, but it's going to depend on if I like this book, if I continue. If I do really like it, I will give the third one a try, but I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan of Throne of Glass, but this one was gifted to me by Andrea, so I'm willing to give it a try. So yeah, this one is one that I would like to complete if I decide to continue on, but it's a matter of deciding if I want to continue on after reading this one. But I figured I would throw it on here in case I do end up liking it and want to continue on with the series. So those are all of the series that I would like to finish that have completed. Now we're going to move on to the series that are still ongoing series, but have books out that I could read to get caught up on them. So the first series that I want to try and get caught up on is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. I do originally think that this was supposed to be a trilogy, but there is actually a 4th book coming out. I believe it's more like a spin-off. We're still following the same main character, but I think it's like set at a different place and it's not like necessarily a continuation of the main trilogy, if that makes sense. So in this book, we're following 2 timelines, one set in the 30s and one set in the current day. So in this book, the 1930s timeline, we're following the owner of this school where these kids kind of come to the school who kind of specialize in certain things. It says on the back it's for the best and brightest students around. And so we're following in the 30s this owner of this school and how his wife and his kid end up going missing. We don't know who ended up taking them and we don't know really what ended up happening to them. So there is that like unsolved mystery. And then in the current day, we're following Stevie, who is really into true crime and is attending this school. And it is like her mission to figure out what happened and kind of solve this unsolved case for this school. So it was really interesting. I love a good true crime murder mystery moment. So I was really into this. I really enjoyed it. Stevie, the main character, is not really my favorite character, but I did find the rest of the plot and the other characters interesting, so I definitely want to continue on with this series. And like I said, I think the trilogy, everything kind of wraps up, but there is like a spin-off 4th book that's coming out that is still following Stevie, but I think it's like a summer camp or something, so definitely think I could get caught up in time for that fourth book, but we'll see. Fingers crossed. The next series that I would like to get caught up on is Heartstopper by Els Osman. This is a graphic novel series, and it's super cute. It's about these two boys who fall in love, and it's just so precious. I will say that there are some trigger warnings for probably homophobia in this one, as well as like other things in future volumes. I don't know because I haven't read the other volumes yet. So definitely look into the trigger warnings for this series if you're going to be getting involved. But for the most part, it is very cute, and I'm very excited to continue on. So I believe this year the fourth volume is technically being released, but in the US we have the third one coming out. We're a bit behind because the US editions have this like special printing where it's like green tinted. It's not just like black and white and gray. And I really love that. I love that it has this little green tint. It makes me very happy. So I definitely want to get the US editions of this series. So the second volume is out. I don't know if it's green like this one. I don't know if it's a different color, but I'm really excited to see that. So the second volume is out in the US. The third one is coming out at some point this year. I don't know if they're going to get caught up in time for the fourth one to be released. Also in these like colorful editions, I'm not sure, but I would like to get caught up for the ones that are being released in the US. So yeah, gonna have to buy a copy of the second volume as soon as possible. Very excited to continue on. It's just such a cute series and would definitely recommend checking it out. And now for the final series that is still ongoing, but I want to get caught up on or try to, is the Wayward Children series by Shawnee Maguire. So I read Every Heart a Doorway, which is the first book in this series, and I really enjoyed it. I think I like kind of freaked out when I first read it. It's not like as good as I originally thought, but it's still really good. Definitely enjoyed it. In this book, we're following these different characters who kind of escape to these like fantastical worlds, and they come back to our world and to reality and have a hard time kind of adjusting to being back in this boring, non-fantastical world. So there is this place for these wayward children is what they're called. So in the first book, we're following this main character who has just recently come back from this fantastical world and is going to this school or this place for wayward children and gets to discover all these different people who have also gone to these different worlds and are having trouble adjusting. And it's really cool. There's also like a murder mystery, I think, kind of going on, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really unique and such a fun concept, so I definitely want to continue on. I do have some of the books on my phone, on my Kindle app, so very excited to continue on. Probably will maybe try and do that this year. I know that there's one coming out this year. I think it's like the 6th or 7th one or something. I don't know. There's a lot of books in this series. The good thing is that they're all pretty short, so I feel like even though there's a lot of books to get caught up on, I feel like it's doable because they're so short, but I'm excited regardless. I think it's such a fun concept. I know, at least I think it's the second one that a lot of people like, so I'm excited to continue on with this series. It's very unique, very fun, very interesting, so we'll try and maybe get caught up on this one this year as well. But yeah, those are all of the series that I have started that I need to either finish or get caught up on in 2021. I have started even more series, it's just I'm caught up to where they are at, so the thing is, I would like to get caught up on some of the series that are completed, so I'm just not in the middle of so many series. But I would love to know in the comments down below if you have read any of these series, what are your thoughts? Or let me know, like, if you're in the middle of a lot of series like me, how many series you're going to try and complete this year or get caught up on this year. I would just love to know that I'm not the only one in the middle of so many series because it's very overwhelming. But I think that that is going to complete this video, so don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you have not already. Also, feel free to click the bell notification to be notified anytime I upload a new video. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.